Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
And welcome to this week's edition of Sports Shorts, presented by folks over at L'Auberge Casino. Fantastic New Year's Eve party over at L'Auberge Casino. And, of course, a great place to watch the national championship game inside the Stadium Sports Bar in L'Auberge. It's going to be wild and crazy on Monday night. Ronnie Rantz alongside Joel Davis. A lot of great football talk to get to on this show. We'll start with the negative. We'll work our way into the positive. First off, the New Orleans Saints, Joel. 3 years in a row, they've had a walk-off loss to end their season. All of them have hurt. All of them have hurt differently. 2 years ago, it was a ridiculous, horrible play by the Saints secondary. Last year, most people put the emphasis on the bad call by the official, which absolutely cost the Saints a trip to the Super Bowl. But the caveat to that is the Saints still had chances after that bad call, and Drew couldn't get it done in overtime, and the Rams moved on. This year, a lot of emphasis initially right after the game was put on the last play where clearly there was offensive pass interference. But the Vikings were the better team that day, this past Sunday in New Orleans. So, Grant, the Vikings deserved to win. They did win. And quite frankly, on a final play, a throw into the end zone, you're not going to get an offensive pass interference. I don't know if I've ever seen one. I understand it.
Why do rules not count when the game counts the most?
I mean,
seriously.
Do you remember a scenario in the history of football where that
Let me tell you something.
It was called?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Other than Todd Kinchin against Vanderbilt, remember that? That LSU in the early 90s, Hallman threw a Hail Mary, beat Vanderbilt on the final play.
Yeah.
Caught, touchdown, and then they said no, offensive pass interference, and Vandy won the game. I guess that's the only scenario I can remember.
So, if the Saints were in that position offensively, right, and they were going in to score, and Drew Brees drops back to pass, and let's just say
how many flags?
Danielle Hunter comes around the edge, and Andrus Peat doesn't make the block again for the 30th time that game. And he throws a touchdown pass, but yet he holds Danielle Hunter. So he's able to get the pass off. There's a flag coming out, Ron.
Sure.
So what's the difference? Why is it that you can throw the flag on an offensive lineman for holding when they cheat? Which it should. If the guy's going to get sacked, he should get sacked. That's why the flags are there. But yet you don't throw a flag when a guy literally – I mean, dude, everybody knows it was pass interference. I mean, the defensive back's head got P.J. Williams. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Right.
But yet that's not a flag. I'm telling you, dude, the NFL has it out for the New Orleans Saints.
You've said this
Sean Payton.
for a while.
Well, you know why? Because he wore the Goodell clown shirt. He called him out after the penalty. It's been known. It's clear. There's a bias there, and it's sickening. And let me tell you something. If you're a Saints fan, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. They have to beat people by 41 points, man, just so you're not going to have a problem. So here's the problem, another problem, a psychological problem for the New Orleans Saints. They go down with the Minneapolis Miracle. Fluke play, we can move. It's disastrous, but we weren't going to the Super Bowl. We weren't there yet. We still had another game to play. Now we're mad. We're going to come back and play well. And they did. Last year they came back. They were the best team in football, and they got beat on their home turf by another play. That was a fluke play. They got robbed that time. They got robbed.
Right.
Last time they didn't get robbed. They screwed up. This time they felt robbed.
The mugging and the Big Easy. Yeah.
They were robbed. They felt robbed. So they went into the offseason.
With another chip.
We were robbed. We're angry. We're going to go get. We're going to go get it this year.
Yeah.
Right. We got the same guys. We're going to add some pieces and we're going to go get it this year. Now the third time happens. Now you're starting to see a trend.
Right.
As a player, you're like,
there's a black cloud.
There's a black cloud,
and it may never move.
It's kind of like those 7 to 9 seasons.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you have a team that can't win the close games, that they're always in the game but they can't finish. We've seen games like that. We've seen teams like that in the NFL. You've seen them that they're good, but they just can't get over the hump, right? They
can't the Rams this year.
Yeah, they just couldn't. Every game they're kind of in, but yet they lose at the end. Well, that's kind of where they're at right now. It's becoming a mental. It'll become a mental block. I'm going to tell you right now. After the third time, you're not going to see this team do what they did. They're not going 13-3 next year because it's just like I told you. Everything lined up for the New Orleans Saints to crush.
They went all in this year.
They went all
win
in.
The Super Bowl. Signings, draft picks.
What did I tell you on the last week's show? Everything's hinted towards the Saints beating the living you-know-what out of the Vikings. Everything said that they should. The referees, the 13-1 record with this referee crew.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins hasn't won a meaningful game basically in his career.
Kirk Cousins has never won a meaningful game, and when he's in that game, he plays terrible. We saw him against Minnesota, the Packers not long ago. He's played terrible in those moments. He's like 0-9 on Monday Night Football. Has won one game or no games versus anybody with a winning record or a playoff team. Has never won a playoff game, and he comes in and has the game of his life versus the New Orleans Saints.
At a higher QBR than Drew Bress.
Everything said that there's no chance Minnesota's going to win this game. Of course, they won it. I told you that. I said I don't feel good about it. Vegas knew it. The spread was only like 7.
7.5.
I mean, come on, dude. 13-3, a team that just come off 2 losses, embarrassed.
Month of December, averaging 40 points a game.
Minnesota, who got embarrassed at home versus the Packers, which cost the Saints a chance for a home field advantage. I mean, dude, everything was saying the Saints could kill them, and you knew it. You just knew it. That it wasn't that it was going to be a lot harder, and then now the Saints are the first team in NFL history to go 13-3 and lose a wild card. They're the first team ever. No team has ever gone 13-3 during a regular season. First of all, only 3 teams that have went 13-3 have ever had to play in a wild card.
You know how many good?
They're the first team. I want to say this last thing, and I'm going to let you holla. If there's ever a record in the NFL, if there's ever a crazy record in the NFL.
No one's ever
done this to this team. Somehow, some way, you can almost guarantee the Saints' name is going to be attached.
Yeah.
In some way, in some capacity.
How many good – I mean, the Saints have had a lot of good teams in its history, going back to the late 80s.
Yeah, with Bobby Hebert and the Dome
That didn't
Patrol.
do anything,
Didn't
right?
do anything.
I mean, like, it's unbelievable. Like, yes, the Saints have the one Super Bowl, and I feel like –
they sold their soul for that.
I feel like it's like the Raging Cajun baseball. You know, they went to the World Series in 2000, and it's like, you know, they went to that College World Series one time. Yeah. It's starting to get like that with the Saints Super Bowl. It's like, come on, man. Like, you know, one Super Bowl. How many? I mean, look back to the late 80s with the Dome Patrol and Bobby Hebert and all. You know, granted, they were battling. Yeah, right. I mean, they were battling the 49ers in that division, so they never could get over the hump totally. But they had a couple of teams that lost playoff games that were Super Bowl type teams.
If they'd have been in the AFC, they probably would have gone to the Super Bowl.
Right. Then you fast forward to the Drew Brees era, and of course the 11 team. You know, that was a Super Bowl type. It's
better than the 09 team.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, maybe the greatest team in the history of the NFL. And then, you know, any of the last 3 years. I mean, maybe not 3 years ago, but for sure last year was a Super Bowl champion team. And this year was a Super Bowl contender team. Yeah. I mean, if a chip falls either way, if Green Bay isn't in the worst, you know, has the easiest schedule and Green Bay has a horseshoe. Like they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Probably.
Because Green Bay is not a very good team. They're not better than the Saints. They're not better than the 49ers. But somehow things are just working out for them this year. It's one of those teams.
You know, the Saints started off slow offensively, and then they had to change their style with Teddy Bridgewater, became more of a defensive team, and then they got Drew back, and then you never saw really the offense kind of clicking. You didn't start seeing the offense click until December. And then Drew Brees goes off in December and has the greatest December of his career.
Indianapolis Colts game, the best game maybe of his career. And
they were hot. They were hot going into this game. And then the wheels fell off. It started with the offensive line and Andrews Pete, Ronnie. Andrews Pete, if they re-sign that guy, I'm literally going to vomit. I couldn't, first of all, when he got hurt, we were doing well without him. And then they plugged him back. They took Easton out. They plugged him back in the lineup last week, and he played like a half. He didn't play the full game last week versus Carolina. And then he played okay. It was versus Carolina, a team that didn't care.
Right, didn't care. Didn't have anything to play for.
And then they plugged him in this week, and just go watch the tape. He was awful.
But then he hurt him bad. Then he got hurt during the game.
Shocking.
And they put him back in.
They put him back in.
Like, I don't understand that. Like, I mean, how bad is Easton, I guess? I don't know.
No, dude, I don't get it. I think that was a huge mistake. He was terrible in that game. He was not ready. Daniil Hunter, everybody just beat him like a drum. He caused a lot of the problems.
By the way, Daniil Hunter, whew,
He's
boy,
good.
he played well. This, to me, and
It's over, Ron.
Yeah, I believe
it is over.
I believe it probably is too. But Drew, this is 3 years in a row. Drew hasn't played well in the playoffs.
I know. He used to be. You never had to worry about him in the playoffs.
He looks like he presses.
He's
you could see the strain and the stress on his face, and he seems like he presses.
Well, he knows it's the end. He doesn't have 10 more years. Of course he's pressing. This is my last chance. Every time he gets an opportunity, this is my last chance. All the stuff. He's going to press, man. So he pressed. I mean, even that throw at the end of the half that Michael Thomas had to go down and catch, and then we missed the field goal. I mean, you knew it right then, dude. This is not our day. I mean, we have a great return. There's no flag on the return. Are you kidding me? Right before the half, and we were down. We were down 10-13.
Right.
We had just thrown an interception. They just put them in field goal range. They went down and got a touchdown. Right, took the lead, 13-10. We get the ball back with like 40 seconds. We have a great return. First of all, where was the flag? Couldn't believe there was no flag. Right, we had a great return to the 50. And his next throw over the middle to Michael Thomas was a terrible throw. Michael Thomas couldn't have been more wide open. He was lucky to catch it. You don't see that during the regular season with Drew because he has another day to play. But he missed. It's kind of like last year, that throw to Michael Thomas versus the Rams when they were 13 of 13 on that slant play. You remember that slant play when he threw it in the dirt?
Right.
Throughout the year, the stat was he was 13 for 13 on that play through the entire season. And when it mattered, his sphincter tightened up, and the ball went in the dirt, and it was an incomplete. That would have been a first down, and they would have ran the clock out. They'd have gone to the Super Bowl. Well, he threw it in the dirt. Now, this year, that throw, there was multiple throws that he made that were not Drew Brees-esque throws. The one over the middle, the interception in the first half. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? You threw it in double coverage. Why? Pressing. Because he just had thrown that pass right on the money to Traquan Smith, and Traquan Smith drops it.
Drew Brees didn't see the double coverage, or it didn't look like he did. No, it was interesting. Look, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Drew Brees at his post-game press conference, and then also want to talk to Joel about whether he thinks Drew Brees is going to come back, should he come back, and what do the Saints do? We'll talk about that, and then later on we'll get into. Of course, LSU and Clemson in the national championship game. It's just incredible how LSU, whenever they play in a national championship game, they play in New Orleans. I mean, it's never happened that they played anywhere else. It's amazing. We'll talk about that. Don't go anywhere. And then later on in the show, a special video tribute from the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame with our former colleague, Carly McCord. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts presented by LeBears. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
Welcome back to Sports Shorts, everybody, presented by LeBear's Casino in Baton Rouge. Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis with you. We've been talking a little Drew Bress and the New Orleans Saints. We'll get to LSU and Clemson coming up. But here's Drew Bress after the game press conference, some comments from the future Hall of Fame quarterback, and then we'll talk about what his future looks like in New Orleans.
Yeah. Listen, it was a hard-fought football game. And we played a really good team today, and obviously they came ready to play. And at the end of the day, they just made more plays than we did, right? Love the way that we fought, in the fourth quarter. We really didn't play our best football, up until that point. But put together some good drives during that period of time, and put ourselves in a position to win. But unfortunately, again, they just made a few more plays than we did.
Did they surprise you with anything they did, or did they just execute for the first 3.5 quarters?
No, I'd say looking back, there was probably some bigger play opportunities that we just missed on, whether, hey, they're just, they got to me before we could, we'd have a chance at it. We had a hard time staying on the field there early on, just a couple of those drives, not really ever getting going. So, and again, you play, that's a great defense. It's a well-coached defense, and so you understand at times it's going to be a battle and you're going to play the field position game, which we did. But, I'd say, special teams played well, gave us some opportunities. I did feel like, early on in that game, man, we were starting backed up a lot, So, they were making us have to, march the field. But, again, didn't play great for the first 3 quarters, or at least just, didn't feel like we were able to get, drives put together and play with great tempo and that kind of thing. And it wasn't until the fourth quarter that, things got cranked up.
Drew, because of that, the interception before the end of the first half, just because of the slow start, did you feel like you kind of needed a shot or a big play at that?
Well, we were trying to kind of catch him off guard, and so it felt like Teddy was making his way over the top, and, Guy made a nice play.
Is the hardest part, or one of the hard parts of this right now, knowing the reality that it's hard to keep the same group together, from one year to the next?
Sure, and that's the league that we're in. That's just the world we live in. There's always changes, and so you're very much starting over. Now I would say that we've got incredible culture here. We've got a great foundation built, and we know that there's a stable of guys that are going to be here a long time. And so then you always spend the off season, finding the other pieces, right? The complementary pieces, whether it be through the draft and free agency, and you never know how that's going to shake out. But bottom line is, I know the environment that whoever comes in from the draft or free agency or whatever, I know the environment that they're coming into, right? And the type of culture that we have and the type of locker room that we have, and it is one that is fun. And man, we work hard, but we play hard, and we have fun together, and we love each other, and this is the result, is winning a lot of games, guys playing for one another. And guys love coming to work together here in this locker room.
I know you say you like to take it one at a time, but how confident are you that you're not going to end it?
I'm not making any comments on that, other than I've told you guys this for the last couple of years. I've always just taken it 1 year at a time, and kind of reevaluate each off season, and then find the things I want to get better at and move on.
That being said,
All right, there's Drew Bress talking about, the question you knew was going to come, which is, what does your future look like, New Orleans? And, of course, he stayed with the patent answer. They're going to take a step back. But, Mike Neighbors with CST tonight on the Saints Tonight after the game always does an interview with them outside the locker room. And Joel, he seemed to me, he had a smile on his face, which is a little weird, right? To me, he seemed too okay with
at
it.
Peace with it.
Yeah, too at peace with it. But he kept saying we a lot, and we are going to do this in off season. We've got this coming back, and da-da-da. He did not give you any inclination that he was a guy that looked burnt out, looked like a guy that was thinking that this was the end of the road. I mean, he looked like a guy that's going to do his due diligence. He'll go back. He'll let things die down, and he'll visit with his family. But you think his kids are going to say, Dad, we want you to quit playing quarterback?
No.
Heck no.
No.
They're at the age where, it's a cool deal that your dad is Drew Brees. They get to run around that locker room and be with all their superstars. Yep. They live 5-10 minutes from the facility. So there's no reason that the kids are going to say no. I can't imagine, Drew seems to balance the family life as well as anybody can, and it's a small town. It's not like he's got to make a big hour-long commute. So I see him coming back at least one more year. The question is that he's got to make sure he leaves the money in the piggy bank for the other guys.
15 touchdowns, no interceptions, 116 QBR rating in the month of December. I mean, dude, he's not going to lose it in the next 12 months. It's not going to. His arm strength is not what it was. It's very clear.
But I feel like we've said this for 8 years. I feel like we've talked about his arm strength.
We have
all his career.
But the problem is that he didn't really have anybody to go to. He's not going to make that throw.
Now when he tries to hump it, he just can't.
He's not going to make that throw that Taysom Hill threw. That was 55 yards in the air. And if you watch it, he doesn't release the ball. Taysom Hill doesn't release the ball from the 40-yard line, of his own 40-yard line. He doesn't release it until Harris was at 30 yards down the field. Well, you don't just have to throw it 55 yards. It's not just throwing it 55 yards. It's getting it there in a timely manner. He's got to pick up. He's got to get it there. Drew can throw it 55 yards, but it may take an extra second to get there than Taysom's 55-yard throw. So it's not even about how far he can throw it. It's about what type of zip he can get on the ball, what kind of momentum he can get behind the ball. And I think that's where he is struggling. It's the momentum behind the distance. And then
because of that, defenses know, hey, we don't have to drop those safeties. We can
recover.
We can all play within 20 yards of the line of scrimmage.
And we can recover because the ball stays in the air longer. It stays in the air longer. We can recover longer. And that's the bottom line, man. I mean, he can make the throws. It's just not getting there as quick anymore.
By the way, before we continue talking about Drew and options, how about the fact that Mike McCarthy, back in the NFL, coach of the Dallas Cowboys, I think that's a good hire for them. I think he's a good coach. He has the resume to do it. If you're going to recycle a coach, he's as good as there is.
I'd take him.
Out there. Ron Rivera getting recycled,
I'd
going
take
to
him
the Redskins. Too. But the nice thing about McCarthy going to Dallas, and as quickly as it was, it puts to bed all that Sean Payton talk.
Right. Well, we knew Sean Payton signed a contract. Sean Payton's under contract, and I don't think Jerry Jones is going to be giving the New Orleans Saints first-round draft picks for their coach. Why would you do that? You're trying to build
especially for a coach who had some questionable decisions on Sunday.
Very questionable, some questionable decisions.
What do you think Sean Payton's going to do with that timeout now that he's got an extra timeout in his pocket for the rest of the offseason?
Isn't it amazing?
Guy goes to overtime with a timeout in his pocket when you have the ball.
Well, not even. It's just you've got at the end of regulation, they had a chance to score a touchdown, but Alvin Kamara, they're not set on a spike. How are you not set? That's like football 101. You've been doing that every week.
I mean, first off,
Kamara was like, "What would I do?"
Well, I mean, first off, it's a.
And
by the way, how often does that penalty get called? A lot.
Yeah,
there
and
are
it was
a lot
clearly
of times
a penalty.
that people are moving on a spike, or they don't know where to line up. Guys, let's just all go to the line of scrimmage, stand straight up, and don't move. That's it. There's no law.
Well, I think that he was concerned about where he was on the line of scrimmage. He was not. He wasn't on the line of scrimmage. He was further back than the slot receiver, so he wasn't. They weren't ready.
But can't we just all go to the line of scrimmage?
I know. That's like football.
Is there a rule that says you can't have everybody on the line of scrimmage?
Dude, they run that every week, bro. I don't understand it. They run that every week in practice.
You can have everybody.
2-minute drill. We're going to run the 2-minute drill, everybody.
All 10 people get to the line of scrimmage.
Do the spike thing. Everybody do the spike thing. You got 30 seconds. And you got 10 seconds.
I mean,
They
if
do it
a
every
junior
day.
high had these problems, I'd be upset. Like the fact that this is the NFL and we're running the spike play, and that there's any issue is beyond inexcusable.
10-second runoff. Didn't use the timeout. Why did you use the timeout?
Why wouldn't you use the timeout?
Why not? Why
use
would you
the timeout? Take a shot or two at the end zone,
or just pick up the 5 yards you just lost?
Well, right.
Something. You still got at least one more. It was only, what was it, second down? You still could have spiked it again and had a 4th down kick. So it wasn't like it was very bad.
It was panic. It was panic from a veteran coach. It was stress and not your best ball by your Hall of Fame quarterback. It was atrocious play by your offensive line, particularly your favorite player, Pete.
God,
it was
I'm
excellent
so glad
play.
he's gone.
It was excellent play by the Minnesota Vikings.
They
Their
played great.
Defense was outstanding.
In the fourth quarter, the Saints had a man.
When they allowed a field goal instead of a touchdown on the first drive. I mean, when the Saints get that fumble, you think, here we go. And they go down there inside the 10, and they only get They did a great job on Michael Thomas all day long.
He still got his. He still got I think it was 7
tough.
catches.
It was difficult. Honestly, and it was never going to happen. And I said this at the game. As soon, the way the flow was going of the game, you could tell when and by the way, the missed kick by Lutz, when he literally kicked the ground and the ball barely made it past the crossbar.
Remarkable.
It was brutal. But you could tell the ebb and flow of that game in the first quarter, first half.
Yeah.
And then when he missed the kick, you were like, okay, we're losing. Because that's how it happens, right? Because if you make that kick, you go into the halftime like, whew, we played like crap. And let's hit the restart button.
And we get the ball.
And let's get to but you knew that, and then I knew I wasn't going to cover when he missed that kick for sure. I wasn't going to cover. But beyond that, Taysom Hill should have been the 2-minute drill quarterback for the Saints.
Why?
And I
don't agree with that.
I know that's ridiculous to say.
I don't agree with that.
But it was his game, man. Everything he touched turned to gold. He was, and Drew wasn't. Now, you were never going to take Drew out of the game. I'm not saying you should. But I truly believe in my heart.
How about taking the offensive linemen out
I
that
truly
keep giving up
believe in
sacks?
to put Taysom Hill at guard. I truly believe in my heart that if Taysom Hill was the quarterback in that 2-minute drill, Saints would have won the game.
All right, so let's talk about Taysom Hill.
What do you do with him?
He's 30 years old, 29, 30. I think he just turned 30. Okay. He's physically gifted, man. He can play quarterback. All right. We saw it. He can do the read option. He can throw all the passes.
He's a bigger Lamar Jackson. Here's the thing. Before Lamar Jackson did what he did the last 2 years in the NFL, we didn't know what to do with Taysom Hill, right? We didn't know what to do with him. What do you do with him? He's athletic. He does a lot of things, but is he really a quarterback? Is he really a this? Now we see Lamar Jackson, and there's a clear blueprint. This is how you use him. Yeah, he may not have the super spin. Instead, he's going to run over you. Okay,
correct.
He's a bigger, faster Cam. He's a faster Cam Newton, more athletic Cam Newton. He does a lot of. You can run the same offense as Lamar Jackson, although it'll come out looking a little different. And he's probably as good a thrower as Lamar Jackson, if not better.
Lamar's
at least
pretty good.
They
both have. I'll tell you this: Taysom Hill's delivery is not the greatest. It doesn't look like Drew Brees, who has the most beautiful delivery, right? But it's not as bad as Lamar Jackson's. Lamar Jackson's delivery looks like shot puts.
What have we ever seen out of Taysom Hill in the last couple of years to lead you to believe he can't play quarterback? Every throw is on the money.
Last year he threw, I think, six passes, 3 were completed, so it's 50% completion percentage. This year he threw 7 passes and he had 3 completions. So he didn't even have 50% completion percentage. I get it. It was in these weird moments.
We've seen him in the preseason when he's truly played quarterback. He looks the part.
Well, they're not. Drew's coming back, right? We saw it with the interview. It's about the money. How much does he want, right? How much do you want to come back and be a part of this locker room? And does Sean Payton just say, you know what? It's an open checkbook. You want your $30 million?
Yes.
I mean, is that what's going to happen?
Yes.
Everything you've done for the city.
Whatever Drew Brees wants is what they're going to give him.
Would you pay him $30 million? $35 million?
Whatever Drew Brees wants,
I think
Saints are going to give him.
Kirk Cousins is making $30 million. $30
the
million
Saints
plus.
will never listen. They will never distance themselves from Drew Brees.
Of course,
if he wants to come back, he will. If Drew Brees wants to be selfish, and I don't think he will, but I don't think he's Tom Brady either. He's not Mr. Tom Brady who's way been underpaid throughout his career.
Correct.
Drew's gotten his. He hasn't maxed out what he could get, but he's also hadn't given the Tom Brady discount.
Well, he needs to do that this year.
But Drew Brees has to play ball, or he's going to handcuff the Saints.
He's going to get $25 million. I think he's going to go with the $25 million because he knows it's kind of at the end. It's $25 million, bro. $25 million bucks.
Yeah. If you go for 35, we're not going to.
He's got Jimmy Johns. He's got walk-ons. He's got other things, right? He's got a lot of investments that are doing well.
If he only gets 25 instead of 35, look for the price of the cheese fries to go up at walk-ons. He's got to make up for it some way, right?
And that's fine. In the fried pickles, they got the little fried pickles too. They're very good. So I think that they're going to, Taysom Hill is a restricted free agent, so they're going to have to tender him. What round? What about how much do they want to pay him?
Right.
He's the backup, right? He's going to get the Teddy money. Teddy's gone. I mean, Teddy's going to get paid, $12 to $15 million to go play somewhere. He's not going to be in New Orleans because they got to pay Drew, and now they got to pay Taysom because they're going to he's a restricted free agent. Someone's going to give that guy a contract because Lamar Jackson has set the table for Taysom Hill.
Teddy doesn't go to like Tampa or something.
I mean, dude, there's a lot of people that dude, he's a face of the franchise kind of guy.
Right.
He's always got good guy. He's a very religious. He looks good on camera.
Right.
He screams franchise quarterback. He's what you want to do all your commercials for you, right? So somebody's going to give him some money to sell some tickets, and maybe they're going to get a Lamar Jackson out of the deal. He's only 30. Jimmy Garoppolo's 28, right? So we're not talking that big of a deal. If they can get 5 years out of the guy, I'm just telling you, I think the Saints are going to put a second-round tender on him, and they may even put a first, dude. They may have to put a first-round tender on that guy. If you're a general manager, which you have of the Roughnecks, you were terrible. You were awful. But
we had the best cheerleaders in the league.
Right.
The AF2 Arena League back in 2001.
And if you had an opportunity, let's just say you're the GM of, I don't know, name a team that needs a quarterback. Any team that needs a quarterback. Miami.
Although Miami probably going to take
But they're top 4, so they got to pick. Who else could you see in that situation? Chargers.
Phillip Rivers situation.
Phillip Rivers.
Maybe he's
They're
out.
They're a 6-10 team. They're in the top 10 somewhere. Dude, he would look great in powder blue, right? Los Angeles. You got to sell tickets.
Carolina.
They need to sell tickets.
Do they stay with Cam Newton? Do they move on? Does Tampa stay with their guy or move
Carolina would be a big one. But, there's a lot of quarterbacks going to be available this year, the Cam Newtons of the world, the Taysom Hills. So we're going to see who's in love with it. I'm telling you, if Lamar Jackson hadn't had the year he had, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? But Lamar Jackson has made Taysom Hill has made himself a lot of money. He's going to get paid. They're going to have to they can't put a third or fourth round tender on him. Somebody's going to nab that. Somebody will absolutely give a third or fourth round pick to that dude to come play quarterback. And if he gets hurt, oh, well, we got another guy. We gave up a third round for a potential Lamar Jackson. Dude, I'm telling you, they're going to have to put a big one on him. Teddy's gone. They can't pay all 3. They're going to have to pay Taysom. He will become number 2, and the Saints will draft a quarterback this year. They have to draft a quarterback because you don't want to not be able to use Taysom in those roles that you had in this year.
Right.
So that's my theory, and I think that's what you're going to see happen.
He's Joel Davis. I'm Ronnie Rantz. The future of the New Orleans. It's going to be an unbelievably interesting offseason. The last couple, not so much because we kind of knew what was coming back. There are some key players here. What are they going to do with the quarterbacks? Is Drew back? We think he will. Who's going to be the backup? How are they going to handle it? And defensively, I mean, do you go? There's a lot of things, and Sean Payton addressed it. 25 free agents, either restricted, unrestricted, different levels, but 25 free agents I got to deal with the next couple of months. It's going to be extremely interesting.
The free agents that they have a bunch of them, but there's only like maybe 3 or 4 that you're going to keep.
Yeah, that you really have to have.
Bell, Breeze, AJ Klein. You can Taysom. Well, he's a restricted free agent. Those are big.
Yeah, of the unrestricted, right?
Of the unrestricted free agents, you got to do Breeze, you got to do Von Bell, you got to do AJ Klein, and there was one more. I can't remember that. I'll have it when we come back.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Joel Davis and I's thoughts on the LSU Clemson National Championship game coming up Monday night in the Big Easy. That's next.
Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Shorts. Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis here with you. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio Saturday mornings from 10 until noon, each and every Saturday morning on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge, 104.5. 104.9 in the Baton Rouge area, 98.1 HD Channel 2 throughout South Louisiana. Of course, we're getting close to baseball season. Buzzy Heidel will be joining us when we get into February. I
didn't even know he was still with us.
He's still alive. I spoke to him yesterday, so he told me to tell you hello.
I don't believe that.
He's grown a beard. I don't know if he's in a witness protection program or what.
I haven't heard him since I gave him those deposits.
For his insurance?
Yeah.
Heidel and Wamskin's insurance. Anyway, we're looking forward to the February in college baseball, but right now, putting a bow on things for LSU football. And it's amazing with social media these days. I mean, every day there's something new to look at and watch, right? It used to be that, you might get an article in the paper once every couple of days or every day during this time of the year. ESPN might give you a little blip, but now there's just stuff coming at you from everywhere, and it's awesome to watch. The Joe Burrow videos and the stories about his family. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I'm concerned. I was in that stadium this past Sunday. Saints were a 7.5-point favorite. There was nothing that said that the Saints should lose that game. They were on a heater. They were at home. You had the Vikings were on the opposite of a heater. You had a quarterback who had never done anything. And the Saints lose, and not only did they lose, but the score could have easily have been worse, okay? So here we are, same building, LSU, the magical heater, the greatest year ever. Everything's looking great, except this time around, they're not going against a quarterback who hadn't done anything. They're not going against a team who hadn't done anything.
They know that.
They're a 5.5-point favorite, 6.5-point favorite, rather, so the numbers are very – Saints were 7.5, Saints were 6.5. And now I'm worried that
the spread's going down.
Well, the spread started at the Saints initially. I mean, the LSU came out initially about a 3.5-point favorite. Okay. It jumped up, and now they're
what
sitting
caused
at
that?
6,
a lot of money
6.5.
going on LSU.
Yeah, people thinking that LSU's going to win, so the number goes way up, so that people say, well, it's a lot of points. We'll take Clemson.
Yeah.
Could we have a heartbreak in the same building?
Don't talk about it. Shut your mouth.
I mean,
just shut your mouth. Don't start this, okay? You cannot correlate these two, right? They're different, right? And I believe that LSU is on a mission. They're on a mission. Joe Burrow is really good, man. And he's not 41 years old. He's really good. Clemson is really good. Trevor Lawrence is really good. This you couldn't ask for a better championship game. You really couldn't. with the amount of talent, LSU has 3 wide receivers they're going to play on Sundays. Going to play this Monday night. 3 of them. They have a quarterback that's going to be the number 1 overall pick, right? They got a defense that's been playing better than they've been playing all year at the time that they need to be playing their best. It's at home. It's at night in the Dome. It's the national championship game, and we haven't seen Joe Burrow get flustered once this year. He's not going to be flustered for this game, and neither is Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying he will be, but he's going to have a really loud stadium to deal with. It's a road game for
See,
them.
I disagree with you because you're assuming that it's a home game.
No, I'm assuming that
and
there's going to be a
what-
lot. The LSU fans are going to be really
In
drunk and really loud.
2011, there were as many or more Alabama fans than LSU fans in that building. And
Because they
in
didn't believe in 'em.
2007, it was damn near 50-50, maybe 55-45. Ohio State came strong. Oklahoma in 2003, yeah, there were a lot more LSU fans.
I'll tell you, this is an expensive game, Ron.
There will be more LSU fans than
I think 6 to
than
4.
Clemson.
60-40.
So 64. That's not a giant advantage. That's not going to cause.
all
That's
right.
not going to cause. My point is, when I think of home field advantage, I think of I can't hear. I think of offsides. I think of I can't communicate with my offensive line. They're going to be fine. 60% of that building is not going to cause Clemson to not be able to communicate and not cause them to jump off sides or not cause them to get rattled. It's like playing in Dallas against Miami last year, which, by the way, Miami traveled as well as I've ever seen them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Miami wasn't having a hard time hearing. So I disagree that there's a home field advantage for this national championship game, the way they allot tickets. And, oh, by the way, the tickets are so freaking expensive. And this is the state of Louisiana. Like, we're not like a loaded state, you know.
We got some
Beverly
loaded people.
Hills rolling
We got
around.
yeah,
we got thousands and thousands of
I think
them.
we have 40,000 people that can
You know.
afford the game, at least
Okay.
in the state of Louisiana.
Okay,
At least
but
40,000.
40 doesn't make the dome
Look,
like,
I'm on
like it does the
Facebook.
Saints
Listen to
game.
me. I'm on Facebook, right? And I see some of my friends going to the game. These people ain't got no money. These people ain't got no money.
You want to
But they-
call any of them out? Any of them specifically?
No. But I know a lot of. I mean, we're not talking about millionaires here. We're talking about guys that make $50,000-$60,000 a year. They're going to the game.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what your situation is. Every single dude I know.
You know who's not going to the game?
Who?
You. You're
No,
not
I'm not
going to the
going.
game.
I
Not going to
can't.
the game. You would never spend more than
$200.
200.
200 is my number.
That's
my
the
number.
number. 200.
I'm
Amazing.
building a house, Ron. We've talked about this.
But even if you weren't built, let's take that off the table. Okay,
$200.
You're building Casa de Joel, and it's tremendous and it's big, and we'll show it on Sports Church TV whenever it gets done. But if you were living in a nice 3-bedroom apartment, just a lot of cash building up in in Indonesia over there in the vaults of Indonesia, where you build your furniture for Woodenhaven, what would the number be?
$250.
Like, for real? I mean, I know you're
I
joking.
don't know.
Really,
Am I
what would it
single?
be?
Am I single?
No, it's the same situation. You don't have a house you're building that's way bigger than it needs to be.
It just depends
Doesn't
on-
have a pool. I don't
I'd
understand
probably
that.
pay-
But what would the number be?
$600.
600.
600.
So you could have gone to the national championship game maybe in 2003 with
I
your
did.
$600.
I went to the.
Yeah, but you went free. You didn't pay.
I went for free. Yeah, I
I'm
committed.
saying, like,
my
you're
job.
just not gonna. You're not gonna get in for
I've ne-
600
I-
unless you got lucky
I
and got the
paid-
lottery pick out of LSU.
I paid $150 for each, so $300 for 2 tickets to go see Saints play the Colts. So that's $300. So I think that I would just buy 1 ticket. I'm going alone.
You'd pay 300.
I'd pay $600.
600 max.
Yeah, and I'd have to find some friends down there.
Yeah.
No, I would not even do
you-
it. I don't want to. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to go to a game alone. That's terrible. Who does that? What a terrible day. That's not even any
Yeah,
fun.
but you'd be down there with a bunch of people. Just walk into the game. You'd sit next to other people.
No, I want to sit next to a bro Seppi. I want to do something fun. I don't want.
So you're not going to spend the money.
I told you I went to the 2007 national championship game when we played laryngitis.
Yeah.
Laryngitis. I sat right next to the weatherman for WAFB. Who's that?
Jay Grimes.
Jay Grimes. Jay Grimes was right behind me. Jay, if you remember that, you will remember that I was basically incoherent the entire game and ran off the Ohio State people that were in front of me because I think I might have spilled a lot of stuff on them.
You
Nachos.
loaded. We just loaded.
Dude, so loaded,
Yeah.
Ron, because we were down there all day.
Right.
And we had the wristband to the tent
Right.
to the corporate tent where you just drink and eat
Why-
all
why
day.
Don't, why don't you go down there on Monday and
Why would I do that?
tailgate and have a great time?
With
and
who?
Be in the. Remember, I've got all kind of tailgates to hook you up with. But I mean, like,
Well, hook me up.
but I mean,
I'll
go down
go.
there and just be in the fold and be in the mix,
All
and,
right.
then find a
I'd come
place
down
to
with
watch
you.
the game.
I'm coming down
No,
with you.
no. You're not right.
I don't wanna do that.
Not right with me.
No, I don't want to
I'll give you
ride with you.
directions. No, I'm not
I don't.
gonna-
I mean, when they can't like hang
you're
out in
gonna
the
ride
tent.
with me? No.
I don't want to ride
I
with
got things to do.
you. You don't want to like hang out in the tent.
No. We can hang out for a little bit, but we're not going to ride together.
No, I wouldn't want to ride with you.
You know, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, come on down.
Yeah,
I
'cause
got
I have
you
to leave.
set up.
I don't want to like. I don't want to like. I mean, I would
are
have
you
to
going
leave.
to stay down and watch the game
No,
down there?
no.
Why
That's
not?
absurd. Where would I
So
do
then
that?
you can't drink.
Huh?
Because then you have to drive back. You'd be
What's
drinking
wrong
all
with
day.
that?
Drinking and driving.
Yeah, it's a little something.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, I
You
wouldn't
don't
do
wanna
that.
But I mean, like, come on. Like, you know, to be in that number at least and go down there. Sunday, take the family. They got all kind of
The
festivities.
game is on Monday.
Doesn't matter. They got all kinds of things going on down in New Orleans. There's
Let me
a
tell you something.
convention center.
You're not getting my wife to New Orleans anymore. You know, our first date was New Orleans. So I thought, like, man, well, this woman's
And she
cool,
thought,
man.
well, that went bad because
No,
I
no,
married
no.
this guy. What?
No,
What are you talking
no.
about?
Our first date ever was New Orleans, and we had a blast, bro. I mean, we went to the
How'd you meet your wife?
dude, crazy story. I was in college.
Uh-huh.
Are we really doing that right now?
Yeah,
okay.
I'd like for you to know.
So I was in
There was
Southeastern.
no Bumble or Tinder back
No.
then.
I was at Southeastern Louisiana University. I was probably 24 years old, 23 something years old, and I was at Stray Cats. If you're from Southeastern,
I
you know
remember
Stray Cats.
Stray Cats in Hammond.
And I'll never forget, I was dating this girl, and this chick comes. I would see her like once in every blue moon. Like you'd
Right.
hardly ever see her. And I was out every night, bro. So I know I went to the spot. I
Yeah.
was out every night. So she would come out like maybe every once in a blue moon. And there was this chick that would always come in with this jet black curly hair, and she always had a red beret on.
Like
A re-
raspberry beret?
A red beret. She had a red beret on. And I was like, that's the hottest girl on the
Yeah,
planet, right?
curly
That-
hair with a red
curly-
beret.
it was
Is
unbelievable.
she French? I
She
mean,
looked
like,
she looked like a
she
model.
looked like a transfer student.
She looked
yeah.
like a transfer. It's like
Exchange
she didn't.
student.
She did not fit into the Stray
Right,
Cats
yeah,
crowd.
Right.
Now go forward. I guess I don't know. Now I'm 32 years old, 33 years old.
Still
I'm
right-
single. I just
is
broke
she
it up
still
with my
wearing the
girlfriend.
beret?
No,
Okay, good.
I'll tell you the reason why she had a beret is she was a model in China or in Japan, and she got in a car accident and had a big scar on her forehead.
Oh, wow.
And so she would wear the red beret to cover up the scar because it was a fresh wound. So that's why she was wearing it that
Gotcha.
semester. But anyway, I walked in. I was at dinner at over there by on Bennington. There was a Chinese restaurant over there. I forget. It was Kuda or whatever. It was a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, that buffet?
No, it wasn't the buffet. It was the sushi place. A really nice place. They got the same one that's
Oh,
on
yeah, Kamado's.
Kamado's. We were
Yeah.
at Kamado's and we were sitting in the
Next to
pit.
Penthouse.
You know the little room where they close the curtains.
Love that
And you
place.
could sit down in the
Yeah,
little
get your
booth.
feet down
Get
in
your
the-
feet
in
down
the-
in the
in the-
hole.
in the valley.
It was me, my buddy Lloyd Cordell, and all these people, all my old friends. And Laurie Schluter brought her friend with her this time.
And it was
to
Beret
dinner,
Girl.
And it was Beret Girl. And as soon as she walked in the door, I was like, "Are you friggin' kidding me? That's the girl with
Right.
the red beret."
Right.
And I was like, dude, I just broken up with my girlfriend that I wanted
Right.
to break up with. We were
Right.
together for 2 years. I said, I'm gonna make this happen.
I'm in. And you made it happen.
I made it
Nice
happen,
job,
bro.
Nice job. Nice
And we
job.
ended up getting married, and four
Worked.
4.5 months later. But our first date was in New Orleans. We went to the Hornets game.
Right.
We went to Rockin' Saki down in the quarter,
spot.
and then we went to the blacksmith shop. And we had a blast,
Lafitte's
man. We were
blacksmith
smoking cigarettes. We were doing things we don't do, right? We were just having a good time.
Did you get the purple drink over there?
Dude, I got the purple. We had a great freaking time. So, and I was like, this chick is great, man. But come to find out, she hates New Orleans.
She hates New Orleans,
It's unbelievable.
and she won't let you spend money on tickets.
It's unbelievable.
All right, before we go to break and let you get out of here,
Yep.
Clemson, LSU, give me a prediction. How do you think this one works out?
I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be a very, very well-played
cover the
football
6.5?
game. I think, dude, turnovers are always the thing, man. Let's see how we do protecting the football.
Joe's done a great job of protecting the
He has
football all
protected the
year.
football all year. I think he's going to – I think Joe is going to
Clyde
be
got
Joe.
his fumble out of the way a
Right.
couple weeks back.
How is this team going to play with versus a very good offense? This is going to be probably the most qualified offense that they're going to play, since I don't know, maybe Alabama. I mean, they're that good. They can throw the ball, man. Alabama can throw the ball with Tua. This team can throw the football. They can move the ball up and down the field. They can. Etienne, how are we going to stop him coming out of the backfield? We don't want him to have a big homecoming, right? We got to shut Etienne down, make Trevor Lawrence beat us. Can't let that dude run the football like he did in his last football game. If they do that, they don't turn the ball over. They slow down Etienne, not allow Trevor Lawrence to pick up first downs on 3rd and 8s with his feet. LSU wins this game by 10 points.
God, I hope you're right.
Me too.
All right, he's Joel Davis. I'm Ronnie Rantz. Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino. We'll take a break. When we come back, some final thoughts on the week, and also a special tribute video that Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame put out for our dear friend Carly McCord.
Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rantz.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rantz here with you as Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's. Download their LeBear's Baton Rouge app on your phone. That way you can find out all the goings-on over there. Also want to tell you about a great event coming up with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame golf tournament. Make your plans now. It's going to be Sunday and Monday, April the 5th and 6th, over at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles Casino in Lake Charles. Fantastic place. Thanks to the folks over Relief Windows for being the title sponsor once again of the annual Golf Classic. This features all these former Hall of Famers of past and present, paired with golf teams. It's a great Sunday night event at the Chart House Restaurant. Big old party, $25,000 putting contest. That's Sunday, April the 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. And then Monday morning, 10 a.m. tee time, 8 o'clock registration, breakfast, lots of food and drink on the course, and lots of prizes and monies and giving away. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles, April 5th and 6th. Go to lasportshall.com for more info. Well, someone who, of course, played a role for many, many years with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and a dear friend of mine, of course, Carly McCord, who we've talked about on this show, passed away tragically along with 4 other people in that plane crash back on December the 28th. Well, this past week, Carly was laid to rest, in Baton Rouge. There was a tremendous turnout of family and friends and supporters of hers. And, of course, she was a big part of Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And, heck, last year at the golf tournament at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles, she spent 2 days there covering the event for our social media and our great videos and things that we put out. She will be missed terribly. And here's a little special tribute video that Chris Lecoq of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame put together to remember Carly McCord.
Hello, everyone. Well, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame induction weekend is here. Hi, I'm Carly McCord, and we are at the first event kicking off the weekend live inside the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Museum. Lots of things going on this weekend, but let's go ahead and start with this one. Come with me. Welcome to another beautiful day for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
Carly McCord was duty-bound. She was talented. She was so determined to improve in her craft and did so over the years that I knew her. She was very loyal, She was very enthusiastic. Most of all, perhaps, she was joyful. And she donated so much of her time to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, which will never, ever be forgotten, and enhancing our product.
Hey, it's Carly McCord, and we are out here at the annual Suits and Sneakers event benefiting the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation.
I've known Carly since she was in college here at Northwestern, and she knew from the start what she wanted to do, and she was willing to work hard enough to get where she wanted to be. When she joined our Hall of Fame staff, she was added value. It wasn't just putting out a great product as far as a broadcast or a media piece, but it was making the experience special for everybody she came in contact with. And that's something that is very rare. And she was a person who was very rare and touched so many lives.
Well, guys, we have found it all. When there's food, there's Carly. Gotta put it all together. Gotta get a bite of all of it, right? Y'all, I'm gonna need a napkin. Miss Jenny knows to Continuing the fun here for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame induction weekend in Alexandria, Louisiana for some bowling and disco. You brought up something, and I'm sorry, I have to ask you. The Saints beat your son this past weekend, the Giants. Is that bittersweet for you ever when you're cheering for the Saints when they're playing your son?
Well, what they say, blood's thicker than water.
One of the best events of the weekend going on right now. Children from all surrounding areas and the community are here getting one-on-one physical time with our inductees. We are having so much fun out here at the inaugural Rock and River Fest. But now let's get to what we are all celebrating this weekend, the 2018 Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame inductees.
Carly has been involved for the past 3 years with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame through our personal friendship, and she did a fantastic job with our social media videos, co-hosting and emceeing events from time to time, and mostly gave of her time because of her love and passion for Natchitoches and Northwestern State, where the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is located. We miss her tons already. She's irreplaceable, and God bless her and her family.
Well, that was a great video that Chris Lecoq put together, and on behalf of everyone at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, she will be missed, and it will be totally different and weird to have the events moving forward without her being a part of it. She was passionate about the Hall of Fame, mainly because of, like I said in the video, her love for Natchitoches, and that's where she grew to love the Hall of Fame because of it being in that state. And but more than that, she was a tremendous friend. For the Ensminger family and the McCord family, it's been an unbelievably tough time. And what a strange week it's going to be as LSU plays for the national championship. And, of course, the Ensminger, such a joyful time for them. They will do their best to enjoy the experience down in New Orleans this weekend. And on Monday night, where hopefully LSU brings home that national championship. My prediction, 38-24 Tigers. I hope I'm right. Go Tigers, and we'll see you next week.
Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame induction weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Sports fans, you don't want to miss the biggest celebration of the summer. It's the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Induction Weekend in Natchitoches, June 25th through 27th. The 2020 Hall of Fame class features legendary sports figures Joe Horn, Nick Saban, Phil Robertson, and many more. Log on to lasportshall.com for more ticket information.